General Pierre Deng Cole, thank you so much for creating time, and thank you for participating in this work. Indeed, when we were in the House, you committed that you'll be here, and you fulfilled the initiative of being here. Our dear chief guests and right honorable speakers, General Pierre Deng Cole, I want to take this opportunity to stand before you in this 15th edition of the Interparliamentary Games this year, hosted by Uganda. That brings us together, irrespective of our busy schedules, with politics, with campaigns, with matters of legislation. We have created an initiative for committing time being this event, and we want to appreciate Uganda for accepting to host us even when it was not time for you to host us. That brings us together. As JPC and IALA, we take this opportunity to thank you heartily. One, thank the Right Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda,
of South Sudan, our elder, the former Secretary General, Honorable Amanya Mushega, colleague members of Parliament here, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter Gwang, Minister of State for Education and Sports, Republic of Uganda, Member of Parliament. It gives me the great pleasure to welcome you to Kampala and Uganda as a whole as we host the 15th edition of the East African Community Interparliamentary Games. I bring you greetings from the Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, Mama the First Lady. Great pleasure to welcome she too welcomes you and wishes you a memorable stay here in Uganda. The 15th edition, distinguished guests, as a ministry, we are excited to have you in our beautiful country, and I hope, Minister, you are already enjoying the warm hospitality and the people of Uganda for good food and the great weather we have here. We are thankful to the Bureau of Speakers and that the decision which was made to have us host these games. It must be appreciated that the burden comes with a last-minute decision to have us host these enormous games. But I want to thank the local organizing committee for the good job done despite the time we were given. We thank all the teams which have been able to ensure to come to our great country. As you may have noticed, the theme of these games is advancing integration through East Africa Community Parliamentary Games. The key goals of the integration process is having a bigger market, enhancing trade through reduction of barriers, free movement of goods and persons, and championing of peace and security. Distinguished guests, sports is a key driver in the process of bringing the lawmakers closer in the manner in making, to ensuring that we are able to align and celebrate with our people. We have heard that so many trade and business deals have been concluded on golf courses. And I'm happy the senior elder, Honorable Amanya Mushega, is a golf person here. Why can't we, the legislators, continue the discussion of this integration process on the other field of play? I know it might be difficult with some games, but we have the opportunity for interactions before, during, and after the games. I must also admit that through previous editions of the games, we have seen some progress made as evidenced through free movements of teams across the region. However, I wish to extend this to the other citizenry. Why do we still have people issued with residence and work permits to stay and work in another country? Why should I even use the words another country? Why should we act, be alive as East Africans? Friends, I'm happy I'm addressing this to the honorable members of Parliament. If we are really talking about a united East Africa, why should we wait? Why should we talk about borders? Why should we talk about working permits? Why should we talk about residence? It's a pain to me as an ordinary citizen, as a member of Parliament, as a minister, when we are talking about this. Why? Colleagues, as you are aware, the three countries of Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania recently hosted CHAN football tournament. And for the record, it has been the best CHAN tournament ever since the Confederation of African Football started this competition. Right, honorable speakers, I want to ask this audience to clap for our heads of states of Uganda, Kenya, and the United Republic of Tanzania for showing the world what East Africa is all about. We shall be hosting AFCON 2027, and we want this through Pamoja. I want to request the kind cooperation through sports is crucial for the furtherance of the EAC and its agenda. We call upon other partner states to support the efforts of hosting the bigger football tournaments in the African continent. We welcome East Africa and the rest of the world to the 3 cities of Tanzania, which is Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, which is for Kenya, and Kampala for Uganda. Finally, there is an area where we need to intensify our effort. We need to have the citizens of our country appreciate the need for the integration. We must have deliberate efforts to sensitize the people about the steps that have been taken in this process. The EAC Games are a great opportunity to pass the information to our people. I once again welcome you to this beautiful country and hope you are enjoying the deepening, the tightening, and the widening of the integration. Take time to visit this beautiful country, even outside Kampala, and stay for Christmas as we come to the closure of these games. I want to quote, Sir Winston Churchill described Uganda as a pearl of Africa. Distinguished guests, please take your time. And I want to say, as a player, Right Honorable Speaker, I am determined to score goals and to become the top scorer in these games. I welcome you. Karibu sana, asanteni sana, Mungu akibarikishe. I say all this for God and my country. Merry Christmas and a new prosperous new year. Thank you so much.
Can I have a copy? Thank you so much. May we clap for our Honorable Minister. Thank you, my brother. Asante sana. Right Honorable Speakers, the Honorable Gwang continues to raise questions on why would we imagine we're one East African, but we continue having work permits and visas and all that. The Honorable Speaker of Yala, I'm sure that we have already done a lot of work around that area. But I think the question of implementation is a key aspect that these members of parliament should respond to. May I take this opportunity to invite the Speaker, the Right Honorable Speaker of Burundi, the Republic of Burundi. Right Honorable Speaker, you access the podium right there.
Right Honorable Speakers of National Parliamentary Chambers, Right Honorable Speaker of the East African Legislative Assembly, Right Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly of Uganda, Members of Parliament, distinguished guests, dear participants in the Inter-Parliamentary Games, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me correct something which has been said. It was a short mistake. It is the Deputy Speaker of Burundi Senate, which is present here, Clotilde Kamimbal. First of all, let me thank the Almighty God who guided us throughout this year, who protected us throughout our journey from our capitals to Kampala, the capital of Uganda, and who enabled us to carry out our various activities we are called upon to perform for the benefit of our respective parliaments and countries. On behalf of Burundian Parliament delegation and on my own behalf, let me express my sincere thanks and deep appreciation to the government, Parliament, the people of Uganda for the generosity, hospitality, and warm welcome extended to us since our arrival here in Uganda. By the same opportunity which is offered to me, I'm pleased to convey to you all of here the sincere greetings of members of the bureaus of the Parliament of Burundi and parliamentarians and Burundi people. On the same occasion of this opening day of the 15th Interparliamentary Games Tournament of the East African Community in the Republic of Uganda, we are very proud to participate and join our brothers and sisters from our country of this community. Right Honorable Speakers of Parliament, Members of Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The Interparliamentary Games within the East African Community were first initiated in the early 2000s as an initiative to promote a spirit of unity and collaboration within the East African community. Since then, these games have become an eagerly anticipated annual event, bringing together parliamentarians from various member states to compete in the spirit of camaraderie and fair play. These games aim to strengthen ties between legislators of member states, to promote regional integration and facilitate cultural exchange. They not only offer a unique platform for sport diplomacy, thus contributing to improve interparliamentary relations and regional cooperation, but also improve interparliamentary relations and the regional, but also they not only offer a unique platform for sport diplomacy, thus contributing to improve interparliamentary relations and the regional cooperation, but also provide enjoyable moments of relaxation while building shared memories and generating attention from the integration process. This tournament is therefore crucial for the harmonious development of the region and mutual respect among the participating nations. Burundi has always demonstrated a strong commitment to East African community interparliamentary games by regularly sending representing and enthusiastic delegations. This commitment underscores the importance of the country places on regional integration and interparliamentary cooperation. Allow me to reiterate my sincere thanks to the Republic of Uganda for agreeing to host these interparliamentary games. Before concluding my remarks, I wish the teams friendly and successful. Before concluding my remarks, I wish all the teams friendly and successful games in a spirit of fraternity, which will allow us to fully understand our role in the integration process within the East African community. We cannot speak of integration without integration of heart and mind. Therefore, we are not here to defeat one another, but to ensure sustainable competitiveness. Moreover, we are confident that we will all return victorious. I cannot conclude my address without thanking once more all of those who contributed directly or indirectly to the organization of these interparliamentary games. Long live the East African community, long live interparliamentary games. Thank you. May God bless you all.
One people, one destiny. One destiny, one people, one destiny. We widen, we deepen, we tighten, we strengthen. May I take this opportunity to invite the Deputy Speaker of the Parliament of Rwanda.
Right Honorable Robert Tayibwa, Guest of Honor and Vice Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, Right Honorable Speaker of Weyala, Right Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of Kenya, Honorable Vice President of the Senate of Burundi, Honorable Head of Delegations, Honorable Ministers here present, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Parliament of Rwanda and on my own behalf, allow me to convey warm greetings from your brothers and sisters from the Republic of Rwanda. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Parliament of Uganda and to the Republic of Uganda for hosting these interparliamentary games. Indeed, I use this opportunity to thank the Parliament of Uganda and the people of the Republic of Uganda for the warm welcome and the warm hospitality extended to us since our arrival in this beautiful city of Kampala. Equally, I would like to thank the organizers of the 15th edition of the Interparliamentary Games for the effort to make this tournament happen. Your Excellency, Honorable, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, as the representative of our citizens, we gather here not simply to compete, rather to make these games a powerful symbol of the unity, friendship, and shared aspirations that bind our region together to make the EAC a vibrant and resilient community. With this year's theme, which is advancing integration through EAC parliamentary sport, participating in these games offers each of us a unique opportunity for widening, tightening, and deepening the EAC integration, build personal relationship, and strengthen the trust that is essential for successful regional integration. Every race we run, every match we play, and every cheer we share contribute to a strong, more cohesive East African community. We as parliamentarians need to continue strengthening collaboration among EAC partner states, addressing challenges facing the EAC integration process, and discussing way forward to enhance the role of partner state parliaments in advancing the EAC agenda. We are called to work hard and sustain a solid and strong leadership of our countries to achieve prosperity, cohesiveness, and peaceful societies. Your Excellency, honorable distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, I wish again to commend the organizers and hosts for their dedication and hospitality. May this year's games inspire us to continue working together for a peaceful, prosperous, and united East Africa community. Let us play with integrity, celebrate our diversity, and enjoy the camaraderie that this game fosters. Thank you very much for your kind attention. God bless East African community.
Warakoze cyane, Right Honorable Speaker. One people, one destiny. We widen, we deepen, we tighten, and we strengthen. Thank you so much. May I take this opportunity to invite the Right Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly of Kenya, Dr. Stephen Masika Wetangula, Papa wa Roma.
Thank you, thank you. Ndugu zetu wa Uganda, ndugu zetu wa Rwanda, muraho neza. Ndugu zetu wa Burundi, amakuru. Ndugu zetu wa Tanzania, shikamo. Ndugu zetu wa Uganda, mulineza. Is that what you say? Muli balungi. Muli balungi. Ndugu zetu wa Kenya, hamjambo. Nina furaha kubwa sana sana leo kuwa hapa Uganda. Coming here to join in the opening of the friendly games of the East African parliaments. I start by saluting our host country, my brother Taebwa. Regards to our sister AAA, Anita Among, the Speaker of Uganda, our brother from the East African community, the Speaker Ndiruti Mana, our sisters from Burundi and Rwanda, and of course my great friend Bwana Mushega, former Secretary General of the community. These games were supposed to be held in Burundi. My colleagues from Burundi called and indicated the challenges they had and requested that we look for another venue and another host. We went to the next host, which was Tanzania. My sister then, Tulia Acton, indicated that they had challenges because they were going through an election and they were not able to host us. East African community, as a parent to the sports, were not in a position to host us in Arusha either, for the same reasons that Tanzania had. I reached out to my sister, the Speaker of Uganda, Annette, and within a day, she said she would consult with the leadership of the country, and she called back and said, we can host despite the fact that we have a general election in January, only a month away. A round of applause for Uganda. I came in here in Kampala. We had a bureau meeting. One or two of the members of parliament of Uganda had mixed feelings, but Annette overruled them and directed them to embark on planning to host these games. We as Kenya hosted these games last year in Mombasa, our tourist city of Mombasa. And I've no doubt everybody who came to Mombasa came out happy and fulfilled in every way. Here we are in Uganda now. We have been told that engagements are both day and night, and I encourage your visitors to do exactly that. When our forefathers, Mwalimu Nyerere, Jomo Kenyatta, and Milton Obote started the community, it was called Shirikisho la Afrika Mashariki. Their dream was to have a common currency, common customs, and eventually political federation. Indeed, at one time in the early 60s, we had a common airline, we had common ports and harbors, we had common customs, and many other things that brought us together. I honestly hope and pray that the political federation of East Africa comes to fruition in our lifetime, because integration, unity of our region is not an option. Those of us who have tasted the benefits of this integration can attest to the fact that being together is better than being apart. We have been each other's keeper in many ways. When this great country had challenges in the 70s, Kenya hosted many of our compatriots from here. I was delighted 3 days ago to see, in the presence of my president, who is the chair of the East African Summit, witnessing the signing of a peace agreement between DRC and Rwanda. It was a wonderful event because we don't want the people of East Africa to kill each other, to fight each other, to hate each other. We want to see each other as family. These friendly games brings together you, the leaders, the elected leaders. Our constitution in Kenya says power belongs to the people, but they donate that power to you as elected members of parliament to hold it and exercise it on their behalf. So you are public trustees coming here to fraternize and pursue the goal of integration of our region. Kenya has taken the lead. Our president announced, and it is happening, that every African citizen from Banjul, the Gambia, to Somalia, from Lesotho to Egypt, enters Kenya without a visa
Kenya has
requirement.
taken the lead. Our president announced,
And it is happening today.
That every
I agree with the gentleman who spoke earlier, and I've seen this in Kenya. It happens here in Uganda. It happens in Tanzania. Every so often, as a lawyer, I've seen in courts citizens of the community being arraigned for being illegal immigrants, for illegal entry, for staying and working without permit. This, we can't blame it on the executive. We, the legislators, are the ones who formulate the laws and the rules and the regulations that govern the movement of people. I encourage you that in your wisdom, in your parliaments, remove every obstacle that prevents people of East Africa from enjoying free movement of people, goods, and services, so that East Africa can truly integrate. I come from a county called Bungoma, next to Uganda. The young man who spoke there is from my community on this side of our border. Every other weekend I have to cross to Uganda for a funeral, for a wedding, for a cultural ceremony, or just to visit relatives. And that is as it should be, because these borders are not our borders. They are borders drawn in Berlin by imperialists chaired by Otto von Bismarck in 1896. And they called it the Congo Conference because they stood to share Africa, starting with Congo. So let's use them for our sovereign pride, but let's not use them as a barrier to free movement of our people. I want to encourage all of us, and my young friend, Minister Ogwang, I have a strong team here. You'll not go past them and score a goal. But last time I salute Uganda, you came to my country and you took away all the trophies. Kenya has followed you today to reclaim those trophies. But as one speaker said, these games are not about winning and losing. They're about you as leaders coming together to make a statement that united as one, East African community is the richer. That divided East African region is the poorer. I celebrated when Somalia joined the East African community because I believe that within this big arena, the warlords of Somalia will forget their activities and concentrate on doing the business they do best and become part of this region. So let me take this opportunity as I finish to once again thank Uganda, right from President Yoweri Museveni, because without his goodwill, probably we would not be here. Speaker Annette Among, ably represented here by my kid brother Taebwa, and all the leadership of Uganda for hosting us this year. I wish everybody good competition, and in times when you are not in the field, go out there and improve the economy of Kampala by doing everything within the book, everything but arms and human trafficking. Everything else you are free to do. Enjoy yourselves day and night, and let's make East African community a great union, a big, united people of this region, numbering close to 500 million, that can make a difference in many ways. This morning, I opened a cross-country event in Eldoret before I came here. And I said, for we as Kenya, our number one market provider for the name Kenya are our young athletes, small girls, small boys, who go out there, and we proudly say Our national anthem of Kenya is the most played national anthem in international capitals, more than any other, because of our athletes. Every time they win, our anthem is played. Every time they win, they are on the podium, our flag is raised. Let's, as East Africans, embrace sports as a marketing tool for our country. Thank you, and may God bless you, and I wish you a very, very good EALA Games this year, and let the best teams win. And that best team must be Kenya.
Papa. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One people, one destiny. Let's widen, let's deepen, let's tighten, and let's strengthen. Thank you so much. May I now take the opportunity to invite the Right Honorable Joseph Integrity Manda, the Right Honorable Speaker for EALA. EALA, eh? EALA. EALA, eh? Oh, karibu, karibu, karibu.
Right Honorable Speakers and dear colleagues, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, Member of Staff of EAC Parliament, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start by thanking His Excellency Mzee Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, and Baba wa EAC, for having kindly accepted to host these games. I also thank my dear colleague, Right Honorable Anita Among, and all members, starting by his deputy, all members of Uganda Parliament, and the members of staff in Uganda Parliament for hosting this 15th edition of Interparliamentary Games, because you deserve to be recognized as the champions in East African integration spirit. My colleague from Kenya, Right Honorable Wetangula, said, it's only in September that Uganda accepted to host these games. It took you 2 months, but look, you are ready now. We have to recognize this because it was a great challenge, and you made it. Honorable members, dear colleagues, this is a 15th edition, and I wish I could remind you where we are coming from. Arusha has hosted these games 3 times. In 2009, 2014, and in 2020. Burundi has hosted these games 2 times, 2011 and 2018. Kenya has hosted these games 3 times, 2012, 2016, 2024. South Sudan, you have hosted these games only once, 2022. URT, in Dar es Salaam, you have hosted this game 1 time. It was in 2017. Rwanda, you have hosted these games 2 times, 2015 and 2023. DRC, we're still waiting for you to host us. And Somalia will be there next year. We'll be there. Honorables and colleagues and comrades, this year, the games are being held here in Kampala, Uganda, under the theme, Advancing Integration Through Parliamentary Sports. It means that we are encouraging all of us to work towards achieving a state of peace and tranquility in our region. The importance of sport cannot be overemphasized. Games help us to stay in shape, to organize our time, to boost friendship and build relationships. Sports also have a significant impact on our health, both physical and mental. There is also power in networking in sports. Sport is a common language that bridges cultural, ethnic, geographic divides. We can also use sports to reconcile people who are in conflict. But beyond that, these games increase the visibility of the community. These games are a special way of accelerating the integration. Holding games of such magnitude increases trust and confidence among citizens. EALA reaffirms its commitment to the integration process. While sports have a unique capacity to bring people together, if not well executed, can divide or exclude people. The interparliamentary games continue to have an impact on the social integration of members of parliament. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate you because the IPG have considered the expectation of EALA and the national parliaments. The organization of the event has recorded tremendous progress and keeps moving. Before I conclude, we gathered in Kampala, Uganda, with a commitment of integrating more. We came to enjoy the smell of Uganda flowers. We came to taste the Uganda food, matoke. We came to enjoy the Uganda music. And I was told that just behind you, there is a nightclub, which is called Maison Noir. And I also know that the game we are starting right now are not far from here. For those who can, after playing, you can go and taste Maison Noir. We came to engage with Ugandans on East African issues. So, comrade from Uganda, dear colleagues, get ready. We came to, as they've been saying, to widen and to deepen and, you know what's the third? As I conclude, again, I thank the Republic of Uganda for hosting the game this year, and I wish all the teams the best of luck. Last but not least, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, let me wish you fruitful games, as I guarantee, and I repeat it, I guarantee you that this time around, Iyala will be the overall winner. Thank you.
Asante sana, Right Honorable Speaker. Iyala ye! Iyala! Iyala musilie, musichoke, Iyala musichoke. Bado mapambano, bado mapambano. May I now take this opportunity to invite the Right Honorable Amanya Mushega to give us a brief keynote address. And then eventually the Right Honorable Speaker of Iyala will return, who will eventually invite the chief guest.
Why am I not having uniform? No, you have the floor. After speeches, you will be the The Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, the Right Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of Kenya and my old friend, the Speaker of Iyala, who was shocked to find me here, and was also surprised that I saw him in Bujumbura, Deputy Speakers of Burundi and Tanzania, and you distinguished members of Parliament of the East African countries. First of all, I wanted to point out the Speaker of Uganda that you have heard for yourself that the Right Honorable Tangura has been entering Uganda illegally, regularly. I think you should look into that, of crossing borders without a passport. But he's not the first. We had an occasion here in Uganda and Kenya when one brother was an MP in Uganda and the other brother was an MP in Kenya and also vice president. Correct. Awori, who was my good friend, and he told me one time he went home for a meeting. He found nobody. He's on the border with Kenya. He went home to meet his people in the constituency, and nobody was there. So 3 hours later, they showed up. He thought they had boycotted him. He asked them, "Where have you been?" Your brother was holding a meeting across the border. So border people have no respect for these funny boundaries. I don't see why we should. I was asked to talk about the achievements of these interparliamentary games. I'm not so sure that is my area of competence. My own view is that in the case of mkuu wa community, the new secretary general of the community, I think let me talk about what could be done to spread the East African gospel. Let me start by telling a funny story in Uganda here. It would be relevant, but I try to make you see some value in it. I was in the government of Uganda for 15 years, and when we had, I don't know, okay, when we captured the power in 1986, there were young people. The majority of the current leaders were in their 27s, 28, there's 30, very young people. And one of them is a president in some other country around Africa. Don't ask me who, I don't remember. So there was an old man called Badru Kakunguru. He's a prince in Uganda. He found us a meeting in the State House, an Army Council meeting. Don't ask me where you're going to Army Council meetings. I was also there. And then he told us, 86, he said, young men, you are not going to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You will not enjoy. You have achieved, you've got power, things are moving okay, but you are not going to enjoy it. So he saw our faces miserable. You know, you've just started your marriage and they say you are not going to enjoy your marriage. You can imagine. So when he saw us lost, he told us a story that one time the king here was visiting his subjects. He found a very, very old man who was planting coconuts, sitting on his buttocks. He could not stand. He was very old. So he told the old man, you old man, you must be a bit stupid. Are you planting this nasi, coconut, that you'll ever eat it at your age? So we started looking at this old man. He should be planting mchicha, things, but you can be cooking tea and you don't drink it. I also have heard that story. So this old man turned to the king and told the king that, Your Majesty, this coconut, whose fruits I have been eating, I never planted it. I'm also planting this coconut. If I'm lucky, I'll eat its fruits. But in case it bears fruits after I have died, those after me will enjoy the fruits of this tree they never planted, as I enjoyed the fruits of a tree I never planted. Have you understood? So the king, who thought the subject was a bit silly, he turned around and said, you are a very wise man. He gave him a present. The old man turned around and said, this is too much. You normally plant a nasi and it takes many years to bear fruit. Mine has borne fruits the same day. So the king said, you are now too much. Give her more presents. Of course, there is a distortion there. You know coconut, those who are from Mombasa, Dar es Salaam, Akura, you know that. The old man said, now, this is too much again. Normally, Nasi gave you fruits once a day. After many years, mine have borne fruits twice in the same day. So we started smiling. A few years later, then I was there in the Ministry of Defense. I became Minister of Education. And I was visiting schools. Then I saw these beautiful KAMPALA trees that you see on the way to Mombasa in Dar es Salaam. And then I said, this tree looks very nice in the farm. He said, Honorable, this tree takes 20 years to look like that. In other words, it's a waste of time. So I asked him, these schools you are taking me to visit, did you build them? So when I combined those two stories, my view was that what can I do as a person that will bear fruits when I'm long dead? The biggest problem facing Africa, and East Africa in particular, we the leaders, we want to do things that will be praised for and will make us elected 5 years later. Therefore, we have limited long-term plans that will bear fruits many years when we are no longer members of Parliament. Another simple story. 1967, I was a student doing my A-levels. and Nkrumah had been overthrown. This ambassador of Ghana to Uganda came to our school, and he told us how wasteful Nkrumah had been, that the British left him with a lot of money, and he wasted it by building Akasombo Dam and a road from Takoradi to Akura, about 20, 30 kilometers long, which was a waste of time. He should have built. Akasongo Dam was to supply Ghana with electricity, that it was too much for Ghana. 1994, I went to Ghana on official visit, and I asked that Minister of Education to show me Akasongo Dam and that road. I still remember the story. Akasongo Dam at that time was supplying 9,000 megawatts of power compared to Jinja we sing about, which has a capacity of 160. He built it then in the early 60s. They called it a waste of time. Many years up to late up today, now it is not enough to supply power to Ghana. The road he built in 62 up to now, it is in concrete, it is still there unrepaired. You have used it, thank you. For us, we make roads which were erected 2 weeks later, it peels off. Don't ask me why I'm telling you that story. Along the way, you'll come to understand. So the problem which I want you to go beyond is to do things which are young now, maybe 30 years later, 20, I don't know, 15, it may bear fruits, and our great-grandchildren or children will enjoy what they do not participate in making. Let me give you a small story. It's a bit painful. It's personal. Mkiona kwamba naanza kutoka machozi, msiseme kwamba huyu anashikiwa na wendazimu. In 1967, I was a student doing A-levels in Uganda. We went to climb Mount Kenya, November 67. To climb Mount Kenya. Our teachers put us in a car. We drove through not the border with Kenya, to Malaba, to Nanyuki, and we climbed Mount Kenya. After 2 weeks, we came back. They did not ask me for a piece of paper. I had no identification card. We went, claimed, and come back. A year later, we went to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. It was in April 1968. Those who were there, you may remember. If you are not there, now listen. We moved in a bus from Uganda, students from Uganda. We found those from Kenya, those from Tanzania. By bus, no border crossing, no document. We went and came on Mount Kenya and came back. A year later, I joined the University of Africa and then it turned into University of Dar es Salaam. We used to get on a bus in Kampala, through Nairobi, through Arusha and Moshi, to Dar es Salaam, and back with no document except a piece of paper, student of the University of East Africa. We'd jump on a plane in Kampala to Nairobi, Mombasa. You know, when you are young, you wanted a plane which goes over the place, not direct now. With no document. They were considered internal flights. I hope you get me. Some years later, in 2001, I became the Secretary General of the East African Community. The difference that I was in the car with the flag, this one. But they don't blame me for not putting on uniform. I think they didn't know what to make me to wear. So they didn't know where to give me Uganda, Kenya, so they chose to leave me alone. But I'll give a solution to that. As Secretary General, I had to get to Namanga, have my passport stamped on both sides. Come to Busia, have it stamped on the both sides. Jump on a plane, you needed a visa, not a visa, but stamp. So, are we moving forward or backwards? It's painful. As students, we saw the East African currency. Later on, we had the East African currency, Kenya currency, Tanzania currency, but they are freely interchangeable. You could carry notes from here to Dar es Salaam, of course, went to Dar es Salaam. As the speaker of Yara was telling you, you wanted to show the people there that you are not local, so you put in one which Uganda. We also move to hapa kweli. When you come back here, we have the Maasai, the Kenya same. Now, you have to change money like 3 times. As you change money, it loses value. To me, those are the challenges I'm giving you, rather than telling you the achievements of this parliamentary committee, so that you can look at it and say, tunaendelea wapi? We are just East African in name, but not in action. We still have people. I'll talk about that later. So, where was I better as an East African? When I was a student in 1967-68, or when I was a dignified Secretary General in 2001 to 2005? Where you have to identify yourself as. Then I went to Germany. Got in a car from Germany, through Netherlands, through Belgium, up to France, with nobody asking me, where are you going? Those people who divided us are together. We who are divided, kama washenzi, tunaendelea to strengthen not strengthen integration, but strengthen the borders. And it is painful. I ask you a question, members of Parliament. Who was there when Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi? By the way, at that time, Rwanda and Burundi were part of Tanganyika. When the war got lost by Germany, then they divided us again. Burundi, go to Belgium. Tanganyika, go to England. Who was there? But who was there when the East African community was being recreated? What do we sing more? Kenya, Rwanda, and Burundi, or East Africa, which we have created ourselves? What is shida yetu ya Afrika ni nini? Tumerogwa? Tumeshikwa na watu. Shida yetu ni nini? Tumerogwa. We love to praise other people's achievements and play down on our own. But you are here. Honorable Wetangula, when the community was being recreated, I was a minister in Uganda. By the way, the first ladies of the first community are still alive. Mama Ngina Kenyatta, Mrs. Mary Obote, she stays up down here. Madam Nyerere. I'm talking about the mother, please. If you want, you can come and make my speech. Definitely the son was not there. That one I know. You get me? Ask them how they felt at that time. She's here, pay Katsekor on her. When the East African community was being revived, only one president is surviving, President Yoweri Museveni. Whoever he is, invade him, we say, I want to meet you. I'm sure he'll be glad to talk to you. What is this they were dreaming about that we have failed to dream about? That we are putting together, for us we are putting asunder. So, my friends, I want you to think a bit more seriously, a bit more broadly, so that we can deepen the integration of East Africa, just not the words. And by deepening East Africa means shadowing the borders between us. The border people don't care. One time as a deputy minister of defense went to the border with Rwanda. There was a garden of peace. So I put one leg in Rwanda, another leg in Uganda. The soldiers started coming and moved this side. The people who grow those gardens don't care where they are. If you go to the border between Uganda and South Sudan, the same people grazing their cows across. One time at Malaba, there was this Maasai grazing his cows. Namanga, thank you. Towards Kilimanjaro. And they came and said, Mtongo Ngezen, take the cows back to Kenya. Then this old Maasai man said, why are you not telling those elephants to come back? They're also crossing the border. That when they told Mzee Mwalimu Nyerere, he said, those are the true East Africans. Today, Maasai that you now in Kenya, now in Tanzania, they think you are nuts. Your head is not working properly. Because they have always had their borders. So why are we making life hard for our people? If you say you are integrating and deepening WAPI, my view is that we are really shadowing. So my simple request to you, you've done a good job. That you are alive is an achievement, that you are making people move around, that you find uncle's home closed, you go and sleep in the other uncle's house. It's good. It's good. But my proposal to you, by the way, when this council was started, this thing you are doing, I was then the Secretary General. When Speaker, the first games were conducted in Arusha in 2002. But I'll talk about them later. The purpose was to involve more people in the integration process, so that it is not a matter of the summit, council ministers, and technical officers. Yet the treaty says the East African community is people-centered and private sector-driven. Our people involved really? Is our private sector the one when you say, buy Uganda? You did what? Build Uganda, buy Uganda. Build Kenya, buy Kenya. You understand? Are we integrating or disintegrating? Me, I'm not a part of that process of buy Uganda, build Uganda. I'm not. If you want, you can go and choose me in Parliament and remove all my former, that I was never there. That's okay. Because I can't believe in practice what I don't believe in. I grew up an East African, where the common syllabus, common currency, common curriculum, same exam. The passport of this driving license was East African community, Uganda bracket. It was not Uganda. Even the new passport should be East African on top and the Kasumori Uganda in the corner. And eventually we abolished it. So may I propose that you take these games next time in Uganda, in Gulu, in Hoima, in Kingisenyi, and other towns, in Bujumbura and Gitare up there in the mountains. Gitega, yes. Go up in the mountain of Gitega. And I hear you say you came to inspect the fields, the fields are up to date. Are you okay? When you are running for parliament, don't you play football with the children in the schools without your shoes even? So let's go and play on the football children in secondary schools or universities. If we break our leg, we go to the hospital and they treat us. You imagine you're also becoming the Olympic Committee that these standards are low. Whose standards are they? Are you not yours? So me, I don't mind you coming to play in my village on the field. Those are your fields, isn't it? Whose fields are they? Are they not for your children? And sleep in the local hotels. You can go down. Why? Because when you go out of Kampala and you go to the villages and go to those places, people come to know there is something called East Africa. It's another way of saying East African integration. And you visit some schools, now they are closing. visit some factories. The problem of Africa in general, the majority of our traders were not manufacturers. When you are a trader, you want to protect your market. When a manufacturer, you want a market open. The bigger the market, even if you charge a little fee, the bigger the volumes, the bigger the income. So let's widen our horizon and do what we can so that more East Africans can come to know of us. And I don't mind when you have a meeting like this to invite our manufacturers. Juakar actually does better than manufacturers. I hope it's still going on. And ask them to sponsor us. What is their role? Also support East Africa. No, you say don't buy and eat East African. Also make Uganda and sell to East Africa. Make Burundi and sell to East Africa. This market was created for East Africans, not Japan, China, and America. You are saluting the peace made yesterday or the day before in Washington. I saw Trump posting now, you Americans, we are going to access Congo, get the rare minerals, get the minerals. We shall be rich. For him, peace has nothing to do with peace, accessing our resources. Where to Merogwa? We are bewitched. Don't you think so? If you don't think so, prove it. I would also propose, I would have fitted in well. These uniforms you came wearing, Kenya, Uganda, me, I was annoyed. You are coming for the East African integration process, you came as a Kenyan. Let the best team win. Me, I want to propose that when you make a special uniform for these games, with the badge of Kenya, Burundi, but the dominant thing is East Africa, then I would have also fitted in. I don't know, I may be wrong, because saying East Africa must be involved East Africans to think, to dream, and also to see what can I do. I remember when the East African community, when we passed it to 004, there was a man in my village who was growing pineapples. Then he told me, you know, when I'm Shega yesterday, or the week before, I put the pineapples on the bus, took to Nairobi, got a better money than here, and I'm now turning into a business. I don't know what has happened to pineapples. They may begin to assume that they are not meeting the standards. But there are a lot of fake goods from Middle East and then may not in the country because the ambassador may come and say, where do you get it from? But let East Africa be first and foremost be for us. I hope you understand me. Invite manufacturers and let them sponsor us. My other observation, there is a problem with East Africans. When we are doing very well, we are the proud of East Africa. It's not a matter of sovereign state. I'll quote two examples. When in 2002, Honorable Tangora knows better than me, Kenya had one of the best free and tampered with elections in the history of East Africa. And there was a big banquet in Kenya, the pride of Africa. Everybody flocked their way. I was still also Secretary General, so I was not doing badly. We are all proud that Kenya has done well. It was an African achievement. But when 2007 there was the scaffolds inside, then it became an internal matter. This internal matter. This is our sovereign matter. Why do we want to share the good, and when we are beating our people, it becomes an internal matter? Why? When a Kenyan is being beaten, I should repeat. I remember I called a friend in Kenya. What's going on? He mambo yetu ya Kenya. But I said my farm manager went back to Kenya. When I rang, he was hiding somewhere in Iktare. He said, he was working in Iktare. And so please, when there is pain in Rwanda, when there is pain in Burundi, in Uganda, we should feel it. And it should stop being a matter of sovereign. You beat your people and you call it sovereign. When you are wedding your wife, all of us are celebrating. When you are beating her, you say this is an internal matter. No. Our job is not to give headache to our citizens. So we call for sovereignty. And we are not sovereign, by the way. We have no sovereignty. Mr. Wetangula, Brother Tayebwa, at all. We don't. We are ordered from, the bigger we are, as the Honorable was saying, the wider we are, the prouder we are. If America says don't come here, we tell you also don't come. Who wants to come? They want to come here more than we want to go there. For you go there to look at the Statute of Liberty as if there was liberty when the slave trade was going on. But for them, they want to come here for our timber, for our minerals, for everything. So I'm asking you, my friends, that this wider, that things outside the admission of Congo, admission of Somalia, it may have problems. But when we are together, we should be able to solve each other's problem rather than calling sovereign matters. Let us strengthen and enhance the Secretariat, both of the Assembly, of the Court of Justice, and the community, because they are the only people who are employed to think 24 hours a day throughout the year about East Africa. But once you go there to meet in the African Assembly, you go back to plan where do you go next when the Assembly expires after 10 years. You know, some people in Uganda proposed that they amend the treaty so that people can stay there more than 10 years. I'm glad it failed. So that we plan for the next person to come. So if you don't strengthen a community and it turns up people from Burundi, people from Rwanda, from Uganda, they think Ugandan, they think Kenyan. No, who thinks East African? Then by the time they leave the community and you leave the community, you are more of an East African than individual countries, rather than singing it. I think there should also be, Mr. Wetangula, in our parliaments. If people are working in the East African community, members of the assembly there, members of the secretariat, who work, there should be special permits or special visas so that they move around East Africa a bit more freely. They can abuse it. What is not abused? If they do so, we punish them rather than stopping everything. So there is some pride of having served East Africa so that you remain East African. But to go there on a contract and you come back later, you're back to Kisumu, you are back in Bujumbura, you are back in Honorable constituency growing potatoes. I don't think it is the best thing that we can do from. My other view is that when you serve in East Africa, wote tujobafunze Kiswahili. I think there should be a program for people in the East African Assembly, in the Secretariat, in the Court of Justice, to learn Kiswahili as a compulsory subject, that if you don't speak it in so many years, you will get disqualified. It's our lingua franca. We cannot be East Africans in word. We must all be in deed. It's you to push for those things. Pass a law in the assembly, starting with yourselves, that we have a program. Instead of come here, meet, and off you go. Have some weeks to study, and especially Ugandans. Kenya and Uganda, you are not in a bad shape. Kenya and Tanzania, you are not in bad shape. But Uganda, we are limping. Rwanda and Burundi, I think they do better than us. And the Congo might overtake you in that situation. I want to do some things. So let me point out this. These boundaries were made in Berlin. Is it 1884? 1896. No, Berlin. It's 1880 something. No, 84. Berlin Conference, or whatever the period. It was long before us. We worship them. For them, they were boundaries of identification, demarcation. In East Africa here, they were administrative boundaries, like the district between Kitara and Kisumu. You get me? They were boundaries, administrative. They never recognized them. But for us, we take them as gospel truth. To me, they are prison walls around us, in which we're encircled Listen to BBC. Listen to CNN. Listen to Al Jazeera. Listen to this Radio Beijing. They will look at Africa as one. The African program, the China-Africa program, the Japan Africa program, India, Africa. Even though I was in Korea, they also want to have Korea, Africa. And there was time I was talking to these presidents, even when I stopped being Secretary General, that why do you flock to Beijing, lining up like school children? I hope you understand me. Are we together? When our African leaders are at some of those conferences, they go wholesale. They line up. So you see Beijing that's receiving them. This is the truth. They receive photo session. He talks them as one. When you call this African committee meeting, I've invited once in a while. You find out of 8 now, if you are lucky, there are 5. Is that true? You who are there, tell me. Do something about it. Why do we take pride to go to the graduation of your rich friend's party and you don't attend one of your own child? When shall we promote our own to be more important to us than those of others? Same to AU. So you members of parliament insist that when you go to these conferences, what do you bring out? And so that we can improve ourselves. Why are you laughing? I don't know, you may be quiet, but let me pinch you a little bit and we can see. This promoting of we Kenya. By the way, these Bazungu players games, they really players games. Let me tell you this. When I was appointed Secretary General, I was a cabinet minister here in Uganda. This ambassador invited me to dinner with my wife. Already he was trying to put the seed of discord in my head. When we were having dinner, I said, Mr. Mushega, what are you going to do about Kenya's domination? I asked him, where does Kenya dominate us? Selling milk total packs here, butter. What is the one you sell at this tomato sauce? What about, I was going to mention, Japan domination, British domination. Where in the Land Rover he's got so many bags of coffee. He went pink. I asked him, well, what about the domination of your country over the whole of East Africa? So tomorrow they tell you, Kenya is the richest country in East Africa. Then Kenyans walk around saying really they are very rich. When it's a drought in Wajir, they look for aid. When is the drought, when there's floods in Mandera, they look for aid. Have you seen America coming here that they have floods in New Orleans for you to go and assist them? Have you understood me? Now Tanzania has overtaken Kenya. Oh, your problems. Uganda is an island of peace. Why are you an island? Have you had the problem of poor island countries? To be an island is not an achievement, it's a problem. So let us not swallow other people's propaganda. Instead of looking at us, I used to tell my friends from Kenya and Tanzania, it's like somebody with 1,000 shillings and another with 100. He's 10 times richer than the other, isn't it? But if you are traveling the equivalent from Kigali to Gisenyi, or from Nairobi to Wajir, you want to reach even. Or from Ujumbura down up to the mountain, where the king used to live. The area you start working together, the better. I hope you understand me. Why do we play other people's game? We are all poor. We are all being plundered. We all, if you go in the supermarket, you find honey made in Dubai. Can you imagine? Tomato sauce from America. What is our problem? And we call our chicken local, the other one they are the real. So she's idea to query. So, Mwalimu Nyerere wrote a paper at the anniversary of Ghana. No, he's right. No. By the way, he's right. When as Secretary General, you'll be talking to President Mukapa, and then they walk in, they say, sir, you are eating in other people's. God had known him earlier than before the president. So he's right to remind me. I also did remind them when I started that parliament from 11:30 to 2, nitakufa hapa. So thank you for reminding me, but also next time when you call us, make sure that we don't sit in that place for 2 hours eating lunch. And I thank you. So Mwalimu wrote a paper when he was no longer president. And he said, this business of strengthening Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda, tumeshindwa, we have failed. Said the British had, the colonialists had 2 arms, the occupation and the boundaries. We got rid of them. As long as we are worshipping Kenya border, Tanzania border, Burundi border, we are doomed. As my brother Wetangula said, either we rise together or we shall be eaten one by one. Let me put it this way. Let us work hard to spread the gospel of the East African integration, we as members of parliament. Do more than coming for the games. It's good we have started the games. But when we had the first games in Arusha, Honorable Tangura, Uganda had a very young team. The Kenyan team was a little bit well-fed. Then this boy said, Tawashinda, we are going to beat them well. They thought I was a Ugandan, I was an East African. The following day, they went into the pitch. The Ugandans were so whipped, they rebelled, and we never awarded the cup. So please, let this match be successful. Let be the best win, but please remember that we are here to spread the gospel of integration and deepen that one. Thank you very much for listening to me. And nashukuru sana, asante sana.
Asante sana, makofi tena kwa katibu mkuu mstaafu kwa hotuba ametupatia kwa Afrika Mashariki. Asante sana. May we give a hand clap as we welcome the Right Honorable Speaker, Thomas Tayebwa, who is also our chief guest, to speak to address us and also officially open the 15th edition of the Interparliamentary Games. Karibu, Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Right Honorable Speakers from the various legislative assemblies of East Africa, the Right Honorable Amanya Mushega, honorable colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for giving us an opportunity to host you as Uganda, and I want to bring you warm greetings from my sister and boss, the Right Honorable Anita Mong, who is not able to be with us here physically, but is here spiritually. As you mentioned earlier, we are at the height of our campaigns, remaining with only 5 weeks to voting day. And we have several rallies, and I really want to appreciate honorable colleagues who have managed to get off the field to come and welcome other colleagues from the region in order to ensure that we have successful games. I also bring you greetings from His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, who was supposed to officially open the games, but also is not able because of the schedule that he has. But I talked to him today morning, and he gave me a few remarks that I should share with you. And he told me, write down. Sometimes he does it that way. He says, please get a pen and write down a few issues. So I'll share with you what I managed to write down in my conversation with him today morning. We want to thank you for having the trust in Uganda. This community, like we were counseled by Honorable Wetangula, when we were scratching our heads on what we are going to do to support our brothers and sisters from Burundi, who said, please
intervene as a community, take charge now as we prepare ourselves in the future to host. You know, we scratched our heads and we said, and we were guided by Honorable Weta, our senior brother, that we have no choice but to make sure that we succeed. Those who are ready to see us fail are more than those who are ready to see us succeed. So as a community, we must stand by each other. We must come in where we find points of weakness. We support each other so that we win as a team. So I'm happy to see that everyone emphasized the point that we are not here to win. We are not here to celebrate against each other, but to see a community of brothers and sisters coming in to compete in-house, but go out as one party of winners. It's not a winner takes it all. It's a situation where we share whatever we get. And I would really want to thank the speakers for deciding that the games should be for members of parliament, because it should be fun, you know. In fact, I think the best prizes should go to the team that doesn't even score any goal, because they would have had even the best fun. We encourage others. In golf, we have what we call pigamingi. Pigamingi, the one who, you know, who scores the highest. And the moment you get the highest strokes in golf, then you're the worst. So we always have a gift for them. And we celebrate it, and, you know, it's fun. You got a pigamingi, then it encourages you next time to play harder. But it's all about fun, and that's why we are here. So these games, it's not just a sporting event. To Parliament, I think it's a commitment. We are expressing a commitment for our contribution and our shared contribution to the unity, stability, and prosperity of the East African community. Of course, as parliaments, we play a very critical role in shaping the integration agenda. So, Right Honorable Amanya, you are talking to the right people who should be playing a very, very critical role, from supporting the Secretariat to supporting laws and policies that will move non-tariff barriers to the business, and also facilitating the integration process. You are talking to the right people. His Excellency the President said I should inform you that especially the issue of East African integration is not a small matter. That some of us, we treat it as a small matter, as a matter we should just talk about in speeches, but it's not a small matter. And also the issue of the market. The East African community represents a population of nearly 500 million people. And a unified market of this size would be a big attraction for investment, industrial growth, and technological innovation. He said that to leverage this potential, we must remove the remaining non-tariff barriers, modernize our border infrastructure, and accelerate the construction of strategic transport corridors. That's roads, railway, energy grids, oil and gas pipelines that connect our economies. A few years back and recently, His Excellency the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, made a directive that we must support communities, we must support countries that are not able, in the meantime, to support themselves on issues of infrastructure. For example, we had a long debate when we borrowed money. Government brought a proposal to Parliament to borrow money to build roads in the DRC, because this was a strategic intervention aimed at opening the market in the DRC. Recently, we also brought in a own proposal to build a power line to South Sudan. And then some people say, no, why do we build power lines in South Sudan before we can complete the process of Uganda? Yes, but South Sudan is equally strategic. If we don't support South Sudan to grow, then we shall not benefit from it as a community. So it is very, very important that we do support these economies that are still weak, because their growth would contribute so much to the growth of the community. And the President has said we should focus on this as legislators. He has also said that our Parliament should champion and support value addition, industrialization, and regional production chains. It is not logical for East African countries to export raw materials separately when we can combine our resources and build strong regional industries that compete globally. A very good example, Uganda, we are combining with the rest of the East African countries, especially Kenya and Tanzania, to build our own refinery. Why should we have oil out of Hoima, Western Uganda? It goes to Europe, they refine it, and then it is returned to Uganda through brokers, or to Kenya through brokers. You know, we would rather work together and put up a refinery like the one we are doing, 60,000 barrels, and we hope in around 2 to 3 years, Kenya, Tanzania, and the rest of East Africa won't be needing to import fuel from Europe, from anywhere, but fuel coming from East Africa, because we've come together as a community. And we also celebrate the recent opening of Eac-Ipg mega steel plant in Tororo, $500 million investment that was launched by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and his counterpart, President Ruto. Find that a Kenyan investor is putting up a $500 million steel plant in Uganda to process iron ore, which has been going to India more or less for free. But now it's going to be processed here to support other East African countries. This is what we are talking about, that we need to come together, we integrate our markets, and remove non-tariff barriers. Because when you look why we need each other, for example, Uganda, we produce 5 million tons of maize, but we consume only 1 million tons. You know? We produce 5.3 billion liters of milk, but we consume only 800 million liters of milk. But you find your milk, for example, can't enter Kenya. You know? But now Nigeria wants our milk. Algeria wants our milk. We had a situation where Kenya had blocked our eggs. Okay? Ugandan eggs couldn't enter Kenyan market. But the chicks producing those eggs, 90% come from Kenya. So we also said, so we said, now, if Kenya does not want us to sell them the products of their own chicken, if they don't want share to partake part of the children of their own chicken, then we should also stop the chicks. From coming here. Now, when we tried it, of course, Kenyans who are in that industry started crying, you see? And then sanity prevailed, you allowed eggs to enter. Why should we go through that? How much do we lose? Find that you need to go, now we get from Netherlands, to go to Netherlands for day-old chicks. It's unfair. So I think we have to do a lot of things to ensure that we integrate as a community, and the President has emphasized that. Then the other issue he emphasized was his recent comment on the Indian Ocean. Okay? And he said it's unfortunate for a serious matter to be overtaken by people who don't read much into what great minds speak, but they just want to pick what they've scratched from the surface. Because his issue was mainly on the political federation and integration, so that as East Africa, we can be able to achieve strategic security for our community. And he said I should emphasize the 4 forces: land forces, air force, navy, and space. And he says these Europeans and Americans are looking at us from space. They are watching even what we are doing here now. They are watching us. And we are helpless if they decide to go for us. They said, will each East African country take their own satellite to the space? But if we do it as a East African community, then will Kenya alone or Tanzania alone be able to build a strong navy? It's very costly. So if we do integration, then we would be able to build a strong navy of East Africa that is affordable for the whole community. So when we talk of sharing the ocean, that's what we are meaning. We are meaning that we work together as a East African community to put up a strong security for our community, not just waters which will be used by other navies to come and attack us. If Kenya can be able, for example, to put up a strong navy alone, well and good, because they will create a buffer for us. But where they are not able, we would work together as a community through integration, and we put up a more resilient force that would protect the community. Otherwise, those people who started doing emojis where we already had access, that was uncalled for. Finally, His Excellency said that I should share with you that Uganda remains committed to the ideals of the East African community. We believe that a united East Africa is stronger politically, economically, and strategically. If we work together, we can transform our region into a global center of production, innovation, and prosperity. He urges us as leaders to carry the spirit of teamwork from the sports field into our legislative work that is aimed at East African integration. And he said I should remind you that he's a great sportsman. Up now, he still plays, he does sports. He encouraged us to be fit. He told me that he does 50 press-ups every day at the age of 81. He says he has been able to do that because he does not drink alcohol, he does not smoke, and he does not go to watch European football, and he does not go to clubs to dance, because East Africa still has a lot of demands from him as a president. With those, I declare the sports open.
Asante sana, tumpigie makofi tena. One people, one destiny. We widen, we deepen, we tighten, and we strengthen. Thank you so much, Chief Guest, and thank you so much, Right Honorable Speakers. And thank you so much, our keynote speaker. I'm sure you've given us a task for us to go back and do our work as legislators in the House. Our role is to come up with good laws that enable the East African community to flourish, and we agree that together we are strong. May I now take this singular honor and opportunity to invite all our Right Honorable Speakers to the podium for photos, and then I will ask our delegations by delegations. We do this faster so that we move. Yes, the podium is right the other side. I will invite after the photos with the Right Honorable Speakers alone and our keynote speaker. I will also invite two ministers present to join, the Right Honorable Minister of Sports and the Minister of East African Community Affairs. And then after that photo, we invite the delegation from Burundi to follow. So we start with then Burundi should be ready immediately after this picture. We expect Burundi to be next. Burundi delegation. After Burundi delegation, Rwanda delegation. And then I think we start with Uganda because they have a match. And then Burundi and Uganda should start. Let's get Burundi. After Burundi, the Republic of Uganda. Constituency plus 256. Can we get delegation 256 getting closer here? Plus 256. Honorable Susan Amero, lead the delegation plus 256. So that is Burundi. So after Burundi, we get Uganda. Uganda, we get to Rwanda. Can we get the delegation of Uganda? Delegation Uganda. It seems Kenya is ready here, and I'd say Rwanda should be next. And then JPC should as well be preparing. Honorable Mpindi Bumali. Honorable Bumali, are you properly seen? Yes. Delegation Uganda, then delegation Rwanda is ready.